Greetings traders, Sam here from TradeDevils.com, and today I'm very pleased to be introducing to you the brand new Trade Devils Advanced Trade Panel, or the ATP as we call it. Now, I have in front of us here a 2000 tick chart of the S&P E-mini, and of course the first thing you'll notice is that the trade panel integrates seamlessly within the Ninja chart trader. So simply adding the indicator to your chart will create this automatically. Now, a couple of the things to note here that I have on the chart here. So I do have the Trade Devils initial balance indicator, and I have that just to kind of frame the day. And then additionally, I have the Trade Devils toolbar up here, so I can grab some of the geometry, some of the tools that we'll use to demonstrate the ATP throughout the course of the video. So some of these buttons are going to be very intuitive here, and I'm going to start with the top four and then work down to the bottom four, a little bit more nuanced in terms of how you would apply them. So let's start with the top two, as these are very straightforward. It's a buy chart and sell chart. So all this is going to do, if I click buy chart, this is just going to attach that order to my mouse, right? So wherever I move my mouse, and you'll see it'll track the prices tick by tick. So if I wanted, for example, if I wanted to put a buy stop here, one tick in front of the pre-market low, I just clicking my mouse there, it's going to give me a buy stop entry order, right? So let's go ahead and cancel that. Same thing if I wanted to buy below. Now note, if I go below, it'll know that since I'm below the market, that will be a limit order, right? Just making that distinction here. Same thing with sell chart, right? If I wanted to sell a tick off of the pre-market low, well, there's a limit order. And if I wanted to sell a breakout of the low, if I wanted to put my entry down here, right, just one tick off of that, it'll make it a stop order. So these are very, very intuitive and very straightforward. And again, just grab it, place it, right? And there it is, right? If you grab it here and you hit delete, right click, it'll just go away. All right, so these should be pretty obvious, pretty self-evident. Now, next we go to buy up and sell down here. Now, this is a little bit more nuanced here, so I'm going to open this up here so we can see this a little bit more clearly here so you understand the distinction. So buy up and sell down is always going to be relative to the prior bar. So you would think of this bar as a signal bar. So in this case here, for whatever reason here, whether it was a buy or a sell, if I wanted to if I wanted to buy the tick high of this bar, I could simply just do buy up, right? And you'll see that it'll put it right on the tick high of that bar. So you might look at that and say, oh, well, I don't want to buy right on the tick high of the bar. I want to buy one tick offset from that. Well, let me just cancel this. And of course, we've got an offset button right here. So if I click offset by one, now if I do buy up, it'll be one tick beyond the high of that bar, right? Again, very, very intuitive, right? Very self-evident. Same thing with the sell down, right? So it's a one tick offset. It's going to put an entry here to stop me into the market short on a break of one tick beyond the low of that bar. Very simple. I just want to make the point of that distinction between the two here is to always tied to the prior bar, right? Now, of course, could be any type of bar. Could be a range bar. Could be a tick bar. Could be a 60-minute bar, a daily bar. It doesn't matter. It's just always tied to the prior bar. That's your signal bar. Right, so I think those are pretty straightforward here. It's just the speed of execution. Now, one thing I should note here. You can do the exact same thing with our function keys. So, for example, if I go to the indicator here, let me bring this up here, and if I come over here to the trade panel here, you note that I currently have it set to buy chart being F1 and sell being to F2. Now, you will need to check within Ninja that you don't have Ninja set any of these function keys to another feature here. So you would simply just go into your options within Ninja and to clear the function keys from whatever they may have previously been set up for. It's very easy to do. Just delete it so that this would take over. So here, for example, now if I wanted to just hotkey in that same situation, if I hit F1 right here, it's gonna go wherever my mouse is. So now if I cancel that, now if I put my mouse down here and I hit F2, right, same thing, right? Just speed, if I wanted to bracket it that way. Now, again, note here that if I wanted to bracket that here, I'd certainly want an OCO. So I have that capability here just by clicking that. So via the OCO, whatever side gets filled first, the other side upon entry will immediately be canceled. And then upon an order being filled, the trade management is tied to whatever ATM you have associated with that trade or on that chart. So here, if I just use my little playback feature here, let's see if I can get. Oh, that one went kind of fast here. So let's try that again. So let's do a buy up, sell down here. We'll get one that maybe will move a little more slowly here, so you can actually see that happening. Oh, I'm not sure which side gets filled here first. I think it's the sell side, but let's just give it a sec here to play. Wait for a fill. There we go. Okay, so there we see it there. So we get filled on the sell side. So here, this is the ATM. I have my first target and my second target. You'll note that the entry order here was immediately canceled, and now this stop is tied to this ATM. I just want to give you an example of it executing so you could see the OCO in action. All right, so let's go ahead and close that. Now let me reset here a little bit here, because I think that should be relatively intuitive here. And of course, whether you were testing this out on a trial or you had made the investment in the ATP here, it would be a good idea to work with playback or a sim just to get very clear so that you're not in the heat of trading here and make a mistake about what you're clicking on. These are the safest, right? Because it's always just tied to your mouse. These would be, you would want to be clear about what you were doing here, because again, it's always tied to the prior bar. Okay, so with that done here, I'll push this off here. Let's just talk about some of the things you can do with the lower features. So we have buy touch, sell touch, and buy breakout, sell breakout. So here's an easy example here. We could use a channel. So let's start with a channel. We just say we drew this channel up here. Now at this moment in time, we'd be thinking, oh, okay, well, the market is certainly, the short-term trend is down. So if I wanted to participate perhaps on a retrace into this trend on the assumption that that trend will continue. So what I might be looking for here is some sort of a move back to test the channel that would give me an opportunity to get short again into the channel. So for that application here, so now I'm going to go to a sell touch. And what that's going to do is it's going to play a sell order on the channel geometry, that angle, and that will relate to whatever bar is being shaped. So I think if I bring this back over here, we can see this as the market moves lower. You'll see that now as we get a new bar here, it's going to relate to the angle tied to that bar. So if this were to continue to move lower, that will continue to move lower with it as we get a new bar that trades there here. So now it's pushing. Let's look for, I think this goes a bit lower here, and it will move again. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's a good example. So now we have a new bar here. Now we're tied to that geometry here yet again. So it's a nice way if you're maybe a price action trader here, or you thought maybe you had a second entry short here on as we come up and test the trend line of that channel here. That's a nice way to get your entry order set to get you into the market to participate in the continuation of that trend. Now, if you thought you were down here at a point to where you wanted to go for the opposite direction, i.e. a break of that trend, well, now we're just going to do a buy a breakout, right? So it's the exact same thing. It's just the entry is going to be to get you long. And you can see a good example here of when that would have been the appropriate choice here. So if we think about coming up here in this channel here, when we got right to this location, well, of course, I have a couple of different ways that I could enter the market here. Well, of course, I could always just do sell chart and put my entry order there. I could have done a sell down and have it be a break of the low of that bar, so I could have done that with an offset there. Or I could have done a sell breakout on the break of that channel, and obviously this would have been a trade that was profitable. But it's interesting, right? So all of the choices I would have here with regards to how I wanted to enter that market. Right, on the break of that channel. I should also note, of course, it doesn't have to be a channel. The same thing, it could be the same thing with a trend line, right? It's just going to be attached to that geometry here. So if I had a sell breakout of that trend line here, it's the exact same thing as if I had drawn it as a channel. Now, one other thing to note here. So if we look at this in terms of what we've done here. So if I just grab my Fib tool here. So maybe I was thinking, oh, it was the algorithm here, if you are familiar with our teaching here, and the algorithm that we track that is the dominant algorithm in the market here, as we've come back to a retrace here of a 50 and now moved on. So having hit that 50 and the break of the trend line, that might be one thought here. So I would use the break of that trend line for my entry. Well, now, just to demonstrate this, if you thought this was going to continue, we're going to go get that target and then come back up and go again. Right, which is often the case, is that algo will repeat. Well, let me take all of that off here and show you this, that if I had drawn the exact same thing up here and I thought I was going to carry on with that pattern, I was going to come back to the 50 and then go on towards that target, I could just do sell touch and it'll do the same thing. It'll sell the next 50. So if I have the fibs drawn, it will attach to the next 50. If I wanted to grab some at the 50, some at the golden zone, well, now I could just do sell chart, and I could just put that right there. So maybe I wanted to be right on the pre-market low. So I'd get a 1 tick front run on the 50, a 1 tick front run on the golden zone, and I'm all set for that to, I obviously you'd be looking for that to retrace, head towards that target, right? So again, just more flexibility of how you can use these for speed of entry. All right, so let's take all of that off here, and let's cancel these orders out. And now I think we're clear on how you would use this with regards to a channel or a trend line. Let me show you as well. You could do the same thing with a box, right? So if I thought, for whatever reason that I thought I was entering into a consolidation period, right? Again, the reason doesn't matter. It's just I want to show you the execution here. So if I thought I'd gone into this congestion zone here, but I wanted to participate either as we continue to stay within this congestion or break this congestion, well, of course, the obvious thing I could do is I could do a buy a breakout or sell a breakout, right? That's pretty obvious. I could do one of the others. Same idea here with an OCO. Whatever side gets filled first, the other one will cancel and the ATM will take over. So that's one choice for me. The other thing, if I thought the consolidation was going to continue and I wanted to take advantage of that, well, now I would do a sell touch or a buy touch, right? Now note with the 1 tick offset, I'm 1 tick in front of the edge of the whatever geometry I've drawn here, in this case being a box. So 1 tick lower, I'm going to get filled on a limit. Up here, I'm going to get filled on the sell limit, right? The other side cancels and then the ATM takes over. All right, so you have that choice with box. So it's, again, boxes, channels, lines, right? So let's pull this out here. If I wanted to do it here, this is a nice little feature here. We have this horizontal channel feature here that we have within the toolbar here. Same thing, right? Same thing as a box, but I could just do it a little bit differently here with a tighter channel. So same thing. Now this case, if I wanted to buy the low, if I thought it was going to, so if I wanted to buy the low or buy the breakout, right? So either I want to buy here on the assumption that I'm going to bounce and then head back, and this could be, so in this case, you'd be anticipating we're going to come down here, we're going to hold, I'm not going to get stopped out, and then I'm going to be adding as I head back that direction. I think in this day that would actually have been profitable. So there we go. Let's get those stopped out or canceled off here, and then well, here we'll bring that back. Show you one other way you might use this. So you could certainly use it with a triangle. So perhaps you had something like this. Well, let me draw it a little bit deeper here. Let's go down a little bit further. Trying to get in line with that low, right? So that if I thought I had something like this, right? So I had kind of a pennant, and I wanted to be a buyer on the break of this. So same idea, right? So I could do buy a breakout here. So now it's going to track as we go lower and lower. That will stay on the angle. Same thing with the sell breakout. If I wanted to get a break on either side of those, it will stay with the market and stay with that geometry all the way to the apex of the triangle. Right, so that's one way you could do that. Now, the other way you could do it is if you drew the triangle a little bit differently. So maybe you did it like this here. We had, pardon my kind of lame triangle here, but we'll do it here kind of like this. So same idea, right? If I wanted to buy a breakout or sell a breakout, as we approach the apex of that triangle, this is going to track with that and get you entered. And again, because we have the OCO checked on, whichever side gets filled first, the other side cancels, and you're off to the races. All right, so there you go. I think that's it should be relatively intuitive to the majority of you, but I just wanted to go through some of those distinctions about how you would use this and the nuance between buy up, sell down being attached to a prior bar, and then how you would relate to any of the geometry that you might draw on the chart. So some really nice features. These are all designed to just create efficiency in terms of your speed of execution and the clarity of mind with regards to what your next entry decision is. So we have things that will give you speed of entry as well as those that would allow you to be more deliberative in terms of organizing any geometry or consolidation or potential breakouts on the chart so that you can participate as you either stay within congestion or move out via breakout. So lots of choices here with regards to how you enter the market, all designed just to make your trading more seamless and more intuitive with regards to order entry and trade management. Right, hope that helps. Keep in mind you can always trial any of our indicators. So for example, if you're interested in a trial of this indicator, note that we will send you, in addition to the ATP, when you request an indicator trial, we send you every indicator we make, so you'll have full access to all of our indicators for that 5-day trial window. So keep that in mind. All right, with that, if you have questions, we're very easy to reach, and we are quick to respond if you have questions about applications or any of these tools. So just let us know, and with that, I will wrap it up here and wish you a good day and good trading.